There are a lot of people who didn't like what I said. I'm sorry about that. The last video, the live broadcast of Florentino's press conference. It's been the one with the most dislikes I've ever had, as far back as I can remember, okay? And you know what? I'm going to keep thinking the way I think and saying what I say without letting this affect me at all. So, well, you already know what you're getting here. I'm sorry, a lot of these people who have criticized me, who don't like what I say, understand it because they say that I, out of professional solidarity, am on the side of the journalists. But you still follow it? Are you still following the channel? Are you following the channel? Have you seen it at any time in the 5 years I've worked on the channel? Do you know my thoughts on the press? About most of the press? Do you know why I left there? Do you know how disgusted I am by many journalists and many media outlets, and that I call them out here every day? The fact that they whitewash? The Barcelona-Negreira case, the biggest scandal in the history of world football. That a club paid a top refereeing official for more than 2 decades, 8.4 million. And the press, Marca, AS, the most widely read ones, haven't published a single exclusive about it. They whitewash it. They don't treat it as important. They don't talk about what a scandal it is, which is the Royal Spanish Football Federation, La Liga, and the CSD, or the current government body related to sports. But anyway, the government in general wants to cover that up so it doesn't get seen. Should Barca be let go and not be punished? But how many times have I said it? And the press isn't outraged by that? They disgust me. In fact, now that the press is acting all offended, I don't want to be lumped in with that group. I'm talking about something very different. I'm talking about Florentino's speech, which, although sprinkled with truths, has been, as I already said, live. And besides, I react to things live. I'm not the type to wait around and think about what to say. No, I think it's shameful, and I said so. You'll get clarity and transparency from me, and if someone doesn't want that, they can leave. Some people already have, and it's no big deal. I thought it was shameful that the president of Real Madrid put on this show. An institution like Real Madrid doesn't deserve that kind of performance. It's like selling the Super League on El Chiringuito. That's the kind of show we're talking about. Is that what we want from the president? Real Madrid. He gave us European Cups and more, but is this what we want? For 2 years, he's given us what he has. Now we're discussing sports, which the president clearly cares about the least, and he made that very clear. But I insist, that same press that's now shocked and very outraged because they've been criticized are the same ones who later whitewashed the Barcelona-Negreira case. Don't count me among them. Don't count me among them. As I said, now let's discuss the complaint against Barca, since in that case, Madrid will have my support. Madrid always has my support. It's another thing who represents Real Madrid. I'm committed to Madrid, but not to Florentino Perez, nor to anyone who's the president of Real Madrid, as long as they do things I don't like or that I think are done wrong. That's me, okay? Think whatever you want. I'm a Madrid soldier because that's the battle we all have to fight naturally. And we're fighting it from outside the club, of course, because Madrid, contrary to what Florentino said in that press conference, was late. They were late and did it poorly. Florentino lied there. He told many truths, but lied about that, which we only found out recently. What? Excuse me? Excuse me? 3 years, and now you're going to present the dossier? Are you really going to present it yourself, talking like that, Florentino? Everything's a mess, disorganized. Damn, I'm a Madrid soldier, but not yours. I don't want you representing me by presenting that to UEFA. It's fine for Florentino to say that UEFA is going to act. It's fine for him to use his influence, but let someone else say it. Or that they don't go with videos, huh? No, look, it's just that we were wronged here. No, that's not the angle. The angle is something else. It's, look, documented payments. Look, a 600-page report from the Civil Guard. Look, rulings from the investigating judge saying it's systemic corruption. But let it be presented by someone who is in their right mind. And who knows how to put together a speech. Sorry, but that's how it is. Now let's move on to the Negreira thing. I have here a little list of the things I want to say. And oh man, there are a lot, huh? So get ready. Florentino cares least about sports. The last thing, for several reasons. When asked, he says that's not why he's here. Excuse me? We've looked foolish for 2 years, and that's not what you came to discuss? That now everything at Madrid is chaos now. When two soccer players fight in a week, he says, so what? Many have fought here before. So we just see it as normal. Come on. Everything at Madrid is chaos now, just because we lost one match against Barca. Really? Just one? We've won 1 out of the last 10. Who is this man trying to fool? Do you realize, you gullible souls, those of you who still think Florentino has been perfect? He's done well in some things, but in most, badly. But seriously, do you forgive the president for not caring about this, given the state we're in sports-wise? That he doesn't consider it important, that he doesn't consider it the most important thing, or that he doesn't come to talk about it, that he doesn't come to give explanations about it? Florentino cares. He cares about Madrid because he helped us win and made the club thrive, but he cares more about himself. Absolutely. Whenever there's news about him, an official statement follows immediately. And now that they've said something, I don't know what, about him, just wait. I'm going to hold a press conference. They couldn't stop it. The emperor has no clothes. The people in his inner circle must have said, what does this man think he's doing? They know they can't tell him anything because Florentino doesn't take advice, or very little. And when he gets bold, even less. So, well, sports don't matter. Oh, great. And on top of that, he announces elections. Next, let's discuss the elections. He announces elections. When is squad planning supposed to happen? He hasn't even been able to say the date of the elections. When will they be called and when will they be held? Meanwhile, if you hire a coach the new president may not want, everything stops. With a board of directors on a caretaker basis, or whatever that's called, provisional. What are they going to do? During the summer? Now in June, will he be able to sign anyone? This is just a dick measuring contest. I mean, well, he knows that of course, he knows that he's saying, let's see who steps up. Come on, let someone go against me. But he doesn't care about sports. And let me tell you, even without mentioning sports, he's already talked about it. Because the fact that he doesn't want to talk about the sports side and the way Florentino Perez has expressed himself already explains why Madrid is where it is in sports. Thank you. Look, I noticed something, pardon the redundancy, sorry, in a video by Collins. This is going to be a video where I talk the whole time. I'm not going to show anyone else's videos or news from anyone else. I want Florentino's image here because I want him right here by my side. But I've heard Collins say that that now he's also getting insults. He used to be a very respected guy. That he saw someone senile. That he couldn't put together a well-constructed speech. It was all absolutely disjointed. He spoke the truth, but those truths lose. This is more my own opinion. Those truths lose their true nature. They lose what they are. They lose the credibility or force those truths should have because of the way you express them, because of how you package them, because of the way you do it. And that's why it really annoys me that now the people from Barcelona say, look, how he attacks with that Narnia thing, but he's scared. Of course. And they're going to say it without being right. They're never going to be right. But it really pisses me off that in something absolutely crystal clear like the Negreira case, and something that's perfectly defensible on our side, and it's the issue we all have to keep fighting on, has gotten mixed into this narrative, and Real Madrid's enemies can say he's talking nonsense. This is just another one. No, man, damn, don't do us that disservice. And then there's this guy, Riquelme, the one who put him on the map, because yes, we did know Enrique Riquelme a little, who says he has an accent. First he says South American, then he says Mexican. Mexican friends, how did that make you feel? And women, how did it make you feel when he said that the other day a lady at ABC who didn't know about soccer wrote the other day? So was that good? Did that sit well with you? To Lola Hernandez, whom I know, Lola from Fox, he says, come on, you're there quiet. You guys are very ugly. Look, poor thing, I don't know what he said. I don't want to put words in her mouth either. The press conference lasted a long time, but it wasn't pleasant either. But anyway, that's the least important thing. It's not important, but it's about manners. It's just talk. Damn it, it's Madrid. Madrid's presentation should be impeccable. Real Madrid's communication should be impeccable. Look, I don't care about these stories they're telling about what Florentino wants to express, because now we're talking about his move. Florentino's move right now is to catch everyone off guard, even the press. If Florentino Perez comes in to say the same thing, but with a shorter and better prepared speech, point by point, and then leaves, that's great. We all would have bought it, but he wanted to embellish it because he thinks he's brilliant, and he was. He's no longer the Florentino he used to be. Florentino is no longer brilliant. He was in the speech, and he really was. Well, this move where they say the president of Iberdrola is behind Gerardo, no, behind Enrique Riquelme, this and that. So they want to get Florentino out of there. If he doesn't explain that, we say, oh, damn. Hey, there's an interested group. There's a kind of elite, a group of powerful people. It's hard to be more powerful than Florentino Perez. But anyway, someone wants to get me out of here and is using part of the press. Okay, part of the press, and they have this media influence. Well, but give us names, talk to us about them, Florentino, tell us about them. They have names, you know? Damn, be brave about it. We find out what the topic is. But if he says the phrase, it's because he said Real Madrid belongs to its members, not to journalists who are probably Atletico fans. These journalists are taking away the members' assets. But what kind of way is that to express yourself, Florentino? No one understands you, and meanwhile you repeat 80 times that your father, his father, became a subscriber of the BCI, and that you're going to do it in honor of your father. And you go after this guy, Ruben Cañizares, who's there asking you questions. And with the guys from Relevo is deader than dead, Relevo. But what happens here is that I think with the Relevo thing, he wanted to refer to a media group that wanted money from La Liga, or to be like, I don't know how. Florentino said exactly that was behind La Liga, and he complained about that. But in the end, he didn't actually send that message. Instead, there was a media outlet called Relevo that was against me and Madrid. And he wraps it all up in a speech like, but why are the media against Madrid? Why, if we're number one on Forbes and I'm the best president in Madrid's history? If all that is true, but how do you say that about yourself? And then, without talking about sports, you throw that out there. People who are going to go to Sibeli's for being number one on Forbes, more than Forbes, but well, I think you get what I mean either way, right? It has all been very regrettable, very regrettable. The press, all bad, eh? But greetings to Kim Dominic when he asked the guy from Amazon, and yesterday he didn't say it. But greetings also to Pedreron, like he once said to Edu Aguirre. There's Edu Aguirre and Pedreron, man, who did what they did to Vinicius, according to Iñaki Angulo and SP in Brazil. They couldn't contradict him since they withdrew from the legal process, only against Iñaki because they didn't have the courage to face ESP in Brazil, right? These guys from that TV circus, Florentino treats them well. And what about Kim Dominic? Kim Dominic, was Iñaki talking about him? I'm not sure. And more people, because Florentino contributed a lot to Kim getting that executive position, and now they've promoted him at Azon, which is really powerful. So is there good press and bad press? Well, this one isn't very good, huh? But anyway, is it the one Florentino likes? Great. Well, all right then. If you buy into it too, then you're buying into it too. Yeah, fantastic. About Negreira? Well, what I've already said, a lot of truths. I like listening to my president, of course, but in an hour-and-a-half press conference, it was disgraceful, and he should have come out wearing a cone on his head anyway. But at least he goes and says, I've won 7 Champions League titles here and only 7 leagues. The rest, of course, in this we support you, President, of course. What happened with Negreira has been unbelievable, of course. UEFA is going to take action, and we'll see how this ends up in criminal court. We're with you on this, of course. But it gets diluted in a surreal press conference. And another thing, he's lying. I already said it live. And I'll always say it. What are you talking about saying they acted from day one? But we were in bed with Laporta. How disgusting. In bed with Laporta because he was our little Super League buddy. Thank you. Right? Of course, there we needed a no. We didn't need a strong Barca because, to be honest, he never said that. I've always said it. And I showed it on video the other day. Florentino tells a member, and about Barcelona, he replies, what do you want me to say? Barcelona and Real Madrid need to help each other. That's what I say. We have to help each other. Barcelona and Real Madrid must support each other. The Negreira case had already emerged. And if it hadn't broken out yet, maybe I'm not being completely accurate. I don't care. You were with Barca in the Super League, and it took you 2 months to appear as a private prosecutor against Barcelona, to get involved in the case through criminal proceedings. It had joined the case before the league, and then the league joined in doing what it does. When the witnesses or accused arrive, they ask one question or none, just waiting to see if it passes, and they're not part of the private prosecution. They're only there to be seen. But anyway, I insist, going back to what I said at the beginning, the gang of scoundrels, these so-called journalists in Spain, they don't find it strange and they don't talk about it. But Real Madrid took a while to formally join the case in that. Why didn't Real Madrid take the ethical path that Juan Luis Martín de Pozuelo, Ricardo Ramón Neira, Tomás Rubio, and the rest of us are now exploring when they had the chance? Why didn't they go to UEFA sooner, before Laporta spoke to Ceferin to avoid sanctions? Why didn't Real Madrid ask, why aren't they being sanctioned? Because you were in bed with Barca over the Super League issue. And in this complaint from Madrid to UEFA, I hope it works, because Florentino, man, he has people and influence there. But if he talks to them the way he talks to us here now, my goodness, I'd rather have Haas or someone with a clearer mind defend me. Because if not, then in this complaint from Barca, because Barca is going to file a complaint against Real Madrid over these accusations from Florentino, which I think he hasn't said anything else. He said, they've robbed me 7 times, but he also said, hey, there was systemic corruption here, according to a judge. Florentino isn't lying about that. He's saying that what happened was a disgrace. I don't think Barca can go after Florentino for that. That's what I think. But anyway, the point is that here we have club loyalists, the club's loyalists, Madrid loyalists, in this going all out against the cheaters who paid him for more than 2 decades. To the second in command of the referees, 8.4 million, and they haven't received any punishment for it. Because the crime became time-barred, or they made it expire thanks to a sports law in Spain. That's just garbage, of course. But administratively, or from an ethical point of view, this isn't time-barred at either UEFA or FIFA. That's why Laporta ran to Ceferin, because he knew he could be sanctioned. Or failing that, not invite them to next year's Champions League, or the year after, or the year after that, or the next, or the next. That's what I can do now. And not let them sign players during transfer windows. And that kills Barca. With that, UEFA kills Barca. Laporta told him first, don't do this to me. Where was Madrid to tell Ceferin? What do you mean you won't do it to him? Have you seen what he's done? Too late, Florentino? Too late and poorly. You'll convince the people who follow you blindly, but you won't convince me or many of us. And that's it. Almost 19 minutes. Those of you who want to stay here, you're welcome. I don't think I can express myself any more sincerely. With more coherence, I've defended Florentino as much as I could. But Florentino doesn't pay my bills. I've defended him as much as I could because I believed in him. Once I stop believing, I defend the opposite, since I judge what I see. But what excites me is Madrid, not Florentino Perez. I'm a Madrid fan, not a Florentino Perez Football Club fan. And so if you see this weird shift, because I've even read that someone is paying me, like this Enrique Riquelme guy, who I don't know at all, supposedly wants to, as if he's paying a group of us who are on this platform. It's just unbelievable. I say, and those who know me know this, I say what I see every day. I make 3 videos a day. I go on Twitter like this. I check the news. I listen to the radio. I form my own opinion naturally, and then I come here and share it. If I were actually being paid, YouTube pays me for making videos, and you pay me by watching. That's it. But anyway, in the end, you're perfectly free to judge too, of course. Hope everything goes well for you. Give a like if you enjoyed this video. Please subscribe to the channel, comment, share, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.